Okay. Special issues, Counselor Smith. Here. Counselor Gear. Here. Counselor Almond.
Here.
Counselor Sims.
Here.
Counselor Andrews.
Here.
You always have one guy. All
Because we're
present.
so late, not this time, everybody's got here. Okay, can I get a motion to dispense with the reading and approve the minutes from our January 24th meeting? Second. All right, so moved by Mr. Almond, seconded by Ms. Andrews. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
5-0. I think that was 5-0. I'm gonna go ahead and count that. Okay, we're gonna try to move through this quickly. 17-10-15, request for consideration of noise and odor problems for Buffalo Rock Mayfield Barbers. I have been talking to the neighbors. We're still working on this. Y'all just indulge me and let me work through this with them. Their concern is that there's not really a department that would respond to this type of complaint on the website, because it's not a police issue. It's not a, you know what I'm saying? There's not necessarily a dedicated department that deals with odor issues. So they're just concerned that they would get lost in the shuffle. So let me continue to work with them. We'll carry it over and I'll figure it out.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
Can we have a dedicated button to West Homewood odor?
Yeah, but then who does it go?
You mean in the
Brian can
city?
send it to you.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, they might as well just email me directly and save a ton. I mean, that's what I'm saying. If you put a button, who responds to it? Because there's not, I mean, that's not really environment, that's not really engineering, that's not really police,
Well,
it's not really.
it's legal that they should be changing other.
Well, I know, but who deals with that? Yeah. me and Mike deal with that. So anyway, if y'all just indulge me, and carry that over, and we're gonna get that figured out. 060122, public hearing set for February 14th, 2022 at 6 PM for consideration of the sign variance at 2818 18th Street South, Andrew Tynes, Shaya's Mammoth Murals, Black Pew, Mr. Pew.
Yes.
Are you from Mammoth Murals?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, step on up. Hey, here we go. If you don't mind signing in, just your name and your address. All right, Mr. Pugh, go ahead.
Okay, request for a sign variance at 2818 Union Street South. It's a request for one additional wall sign. That's the variance request. It's going to be on the rear. And the way we figured one sign is it's a block of text that's 7 by 8, and the sign ordinance provides for measuring it in that fashion. The maximum character and logo heights are all compliant. And our 24 inches is the maximum permitted. These all fall within that. One for storefront is the allowance. This would be a second. Now, I consider it as one sign.
And this is on the back of the building, face parking lot in the rear,
Yes.
and it's gonna be painted onto the wall.
Painted on.
So no lighting, no down lighting, anything, just paint on the wall. Okay.
So are you saying that that 86.4 square feet is what it could be?
Yes, based on the way the sign ordinance gives you the calculation, you can take the width of the storefront, which this is the store rear,
But
because the ordinance really only allows one sign on the front. But you take the width, which is 32, you take 90% of that, and then you multiply that times 3, and that gives you the maximum square feet that the sign can be. So it's very generous.
I would say so.
yeah.
So what exactly is the variance here?
For one additional wall sign.
For the back, like kind of like we've done with Jack and Jill and.
Yeah, except the only difference is most of those have been attached signs as opposed to painted onto the wall. But does anybody else have any questions? From Mammoth Signs is here if anybody has any questions.
Looks good.
for him. You have a question?
Well, not a question, just a comment.
Okay.
From my understanding, I thought the spirit of our ordinance was for an additional wall sign is really like more of a directional sign, like this is the business.
Yeah.
Like this is an advertisement, in my opinion. This is really not a sign. So I think it falls under a completely different category. I don't have any problem with it having a directional sign saying this is Shaya's, this is the entrance, but that's like a billboard, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's just my personal opinion.
I
I agree with Counselor Jones, and my only other comment would be the precedent this was set for the other 12 businesses that have signage facing that back parking lot, which we also have another sign variance. For. It's just a lot. I agree. It's not a problem having, some wayfinding back there, but that's it. It's heavy handed.
Signs in the front.
Hmm?
Signs in the front's not good.
No. I think it's very consistent. They've got good looking signage up front. Very classy.
Question, isn't there something currently painted on the back?
No, they just have a temporary sign up on the back currently. They just need some wayfinding signage, like you said, I think, I mean, the big thing that the other businesses have, like the Hobby Cycles, you just, if you're parked in the back and you're looking for the business, it's right there. The Hobby Cycles has the advantage of cycles being in the name. Chea's kind of has like a bit of a hill to climb in that regard, but, I mean, ultimately, it's y'all's decision, but we do a great job painting. I promise that it'll look really, really nice, but it's up to you in terms of, what copy can be on there, but it's just describing exactly what it is that's on there, and then, you've got the arrows pointing to the door.
And could that be, I mean, that's what I'm saying, could it be, so let me ask this, if we don't approve the full copies block, it's a lot, would there be an amenable this to making it just less work? Less.
Just shares.
Yeah, or, and I mean, even like if it said, established 1922 or whatever that says, without all the stuff. And I guess that would be something you'd have to discuss with the client, so.
Yeah, I would think most people going to Shay's are going because they know.
They know where it
they're
is, yeah,
going to
what it
Shay's.
is,
They're
yeah.
not, gee, I ran into a clothing store this week. I mean, no one knows in the back who's what. You come back.
Right, you just need the
Right,
name
I
so
got
that they know
like
where they are.
something
Yeah.
back.
Two things I was thinking about, the wording on the boxing place. There's just details, but the details aren't as big.
Yeah, aren't quite as large.
So if we could maybe look at two different things, like the wordage below, it not being 13 inches or 22, but being more part of encompass in the logo itself instead of it being so big, the additional words below share.
You're talking about the right here since 1922.
Yeah,
Or even the clothing for
The
them in the middle.
13 inch and the 22.
I might just come up with maybe some alternative proposals for what that might look like if it's not that.
Okay.
Yeah, I would just maybe come with a couple of options, just.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Just to have
absolutely. We can definitely go back to the drawing board. I guess it's just kind of like seeing that the square footage was kind of like compliance. Like I wasn't so worried about the copy, but now that's okay. I mean, obviously,
Yeah,
we can make those adjustments.
and I mean, again, I don't say don't come with this. I'm just saying you might want to have an alternative because because we have to have a public hearing next week. It might be helpful in terms of timing if you had something that was an alternative to that. Just
So the suggestion you guys are having is just to remove the classic and contemporary clothing for men.
or just make it a whole lot smaller, something that would still be able to be seen, or just put the established date, or.
What I'm hearing is some people would like that.
Yeah,
That language removed, but
Yeah, because I will say, I think typically the people who are shopping at Shea, well, they may not know exactly which door to go into. I think they're aware of what Shea sells.
Right.
I don't
Well,
think anybody.
but also you have to, I mean, he's a business, he wants people just coming in there who don't know.
Well, yeah, true, yeah. So I mean, I just would think, I would just, my suggestion would be to maybe have an alternative option, just in the sake of time.
Just to play devil's advocate though, I mean, he is in compliance with everything else. I mean, this is a.
No, but it's a secondary sign. We have to
No, I
approve that.
I
Yeah,
understand.
he could put it all the way across the backside of it if he wanted to.
Sure, I know, but if we're gonna allow it, I mean, just saying that that's not necessarily. Violation.
All I'm saying is, if you want to see that on every single building that's back there.
If it looks that nice, I don't know if I have an issue with it. That's just my opinion.
we don't get to judge between aesthetics.
Well, and also.
I'm not suggesting
we
that.
only
I'm
get-
saying that he's in compliance with what our regulations, besides having the second sign.
I'm just pointing out when you said if they all look that nice. We don't get to judge whether or not they look nice.
Well, we
That's-
kind of are judging here. We're judging.
We are
the
legally
size of the-
prohibited from saying this one looks nice, so we're gonna
We're
approve
saying
it.
it's
This one
large.
doesn't look nice, so we're not. I'm not saying that's what you're saying. I just want everyone to be on the same page.
Right, yes, Andrew.
I think what we're kind of trying to tease out is, correct me if I'm wrong, but we're basically saying our sign ordinance allows this for the primary sign, and we don't have restrictions for a secondary sign. So we're using this exact same criteria for the secondary sign because we have no other default.
That's all we have.
So I think it's opening the door for maybe a discussion. You know,
Now, something
looking
else
at
needs to be in the
how
sign.
large we want to allow secondary signs to be in
Yeah.
the future. Especially if there are other ones that potentially would be coming. So
That's a good point.
I understand that we're kind of splitting hairs and saying it's in compliance, but I think
It's in compliance because there's
given
nothing
that
to
it's a
comply
primary
with.
sign and it's really not a primary
We-
sign.
We don't have restrictions because they're not allowed.
Yeah.
Is I think the point you're making. And it may be that there is a discussion about what should be allowable with a secondary sign. If we're
Maybe
gonna allow it.
there's different size, there's different size different size requirements if it's a secondary
I
sign.
would agree, that's a very generously sized sign.
It is.
I didn't realize that our sign ordinance allowed for something. else.
Yes, Mayor?
Might I make a suggestion?
Sure.
That since, again, before the new sign ordinance was adopted, they would have had to come for a second sign because that was actually part of, we changed the sign ordinance however many years ago to allow a secondary sign on the back of 18th Street for all the ones that had front and back entrances. Could you, and most everybody else already has their sign at the back
Yeah.
based off of that.
Yeah.
Could you not, if they want to proffer it, to have the secondary sign, that they figure out what that sign size was in the previous code, because it wasn't this big,
And work with
and
that.
accommodate that way, it's gonna look like everything else that's already there on the Main Street.
So that's.
Just a suggestion.
Yeah, so there's another suggestion for you. So we've got lots of suggestions. There are some other businesses behind there do have current signs that was in the old ordinance. It might be worthy for y'all to look at those other signs and see if that's something that would be willing to be proffered, that y'all would do the sign in keeping with the signs that are already there in terms of size. Again, just a suggestion, might be something that
Up to y'all.
up to y'all. Yes, that would be something that y'all would offer that we could consider. So those are all options.
Okay.
And so the public hearing will be next Monday. And I need a motion to send this out without
Make a
recommendation.
motion to send 06/01/22 without recommendation pending the public hearing.
Second.
Okay, all right, motion from Mr. Sims, second from Ms. Anders, all in favor, please say aye.
Quick question real quick. You said y'all have temporary signage on the back. Is that like a banner or
They just
something?
have like a banner on the back.
I need y'all to come and apply for a temporary banner.
And so that'll be next Monday night, next door in our council chambers.
I mean, I drive by there every
And
day.
y'all, we'll have your things, and if you want to do something additional, feel free to do that.
It is about.
All right, thank you for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, 07/01/22, public hearing set for February 14, 2022, at 6 PM for consideration of sign variance at 2834 18th Street South, Nick Britton, Kingfisher signs, White Pew Building. Are y'all here? Come on up. No, not you, no. Sorry, it's not your turn yet, it's not your meeting yet.
We're getting there.
If you don't mind, come and sign in for me. If you don't, sign your name and your address right there for Miss. For Mr. Burkett. All right, Mr. Pugh.
Okay, once again, here we are on 18th Street. With a rear sign. And there are actually 3 variance requests on this one. Variance 1 is to have 1 additional wall sign face the rear. Variance 2 is to have an illuminated sign, which is not permitted in this district, District 2 downtown. Variance 3 requests a character height variance. 24 inches is the maximum permitted in downtown District 2. This logo is 48 inches tall. The overall area of the sign would be compliant if it were a primary sign. So that's just for informational purposes only.
Yeah. Question, Wyatt.
Yes.
I don't, I know this isn't the way we need to look at this, but I'm just saying, in comparison, like, what is the size of that compared to what we just saw on the other side,
Well, the other one was.
size wise?
The other one was, I think, what, 56? 56. So it's similar. It's a couple of square feet bigger. Bigger.
And what part is gonna be eliminated? Is it the?
It's my current sign now, so we're just gonna move.
Oh, okay, it's a sign that's on the building down
Yeah,
there.
y'all
Okay.
approved it already
Okay,
years
gotcha,
ago.
gotcha. Okay.
That's the whole thing is that, as you're all aware, Nadeau are moving to what is currently was Cahaba Cycles location. And they've got this sign on their old location, which is a beautiful sign. And they asked if it could be moved and put on the back of the new location, because there's nothing wrong with it. It's a good sign. And and we know that we can't put an illuminated sign on the front. We're going to do a dimensional lettering sign on the front. But this would be an economical and useful way to use this very good sign at the back.
And I'm gonna ask, because I can't in my head picture which is the whole sign illuminated, or is it just the little leaf
The whole
part?
thing.
The whole thing's illuminated. Okay. All right. Channel.
Yes. Flush mount. It's not on a raceway. That's what it's got.
Okay, it's just the letters are mounted on the wall. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Does anyone have any questions? For anyone?
I would say it's also got the advertising that we saying no with Shea, so.
Andy?
I have, for any of the other signs in the back of 18th Street on the side of limited, I don't remember off the top of my head.
I'm sorry, I need to hear more.
I think Cure Bar is eliminated. Okay. All right.
Maybe
Cure Bar
Soka.
is.
Maybe Soka as well.
Yeah.
So this sign would not work on the front.
No, because I can't do eliminated.
It would require the same variant. Well, it would require variances 2 and 3. It would work on the front, variances 2.
Well, and a part of our build out is that we're trying to get it back to as close as Homewood Theater as it was like originally. Like we pulled out the drop ceilings and we're really trying to capture what it was. And I think, you know, if we go with something that is gonna look better with that Art Deco marquee on the front, you know, that might just be a little much. So we thought, you know, we'll just see if we can't put it on the back. It's facing the same street anyway, and it's literally going from one parking lot to another parking lot. So,
Anyone else? This one would be the same motion to send it out without recommendation, pending that public hearing next Monday. All right, motion from Ms. Anders, seconded from Mr. Sims. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so same thing. The public hearing will be next week at 6 o'clock. The council chamber next door. All right, the only new business item is 240122, request for consideration of a tent variance for Trinity United Methodist Church, Council Smith. I know y'all are probably sick of me asking for tents. So due to they're just in a little bit of flux right now in terms of how the church is going to handle large gatherings. They're planning for the junior high discovery weekend in March, the first weekend in March. And they have another couple of things that are upcoming. So they would like the option of putting that tent back that was previously there back in the fall over in the Claremont parking lot. It's not on anybody, it's on Trinity's property. It would be the same size tent as the tent that's going to be put up temporarily for Discovery. But in case the church tells them that they cannot feed the high school students inside the building, they would like an option for feeding them outdoors. They just don't want to mix the high schoolers and the junior high students in order to keep the numbers down. So they would like the option of having this tent variance request, and it would be for the same time period as the other fence, as the other tent on Seminole parking lot, which we've already approved. And there's a chance that they may not need it. And they told me if they decide that they don't need it and the church doesn't feel like it's important, they'll come back to us and we can rescind the variance. It's in the Claremont parking lot. And it's the same size tent as that 100 by 40 tent. And it'll be over in the corner of the Claremont parking lot where same days. Yes.
I move that we we approve the request for consideration of a tent in the Claremont parking lot for Trinity at the same dates as the other request.
Yeah, I can't remember. It's like March the, yeah, but I think it's like set up on the second.
It's for-
Yes, yes. Okay, motion from Ms. Gear, second from Ms. Andrews. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, great. Thank y'all so much. We are adjourned.